When we talk about history dripping with power, ambition, and sheer legend, nothing hits harder than a sword once held by Napoleon Bonaparte himself. And baby, guess what? That exact saber just caused a full-blown frenzy in Paris, snagging a jaw-dropping €6,400,000 0 cents at auction. There it was, the ultimate symbol of imperial swagger. In the heart of Paris, a Drouot employee gently cradled the saber like handling a piece of the sun itself. Every camera, every eye, every heartbeat in that room locked on that glinting weapon. And can we talk about that hilt? Pure gilded silver. Not just opulent, it was flaunting it. Crafted to scream power at every glance, the hilt was a flex before flexing even had a name. And wait, the drama didn't stop there. Perched at the end of the hilt, an intricate dog's head rocking an Egyptian headdress. It's giving "I'm conquering continents and looking fabulous doing it" vibes. Set up for display under crystal lights, the saber practically glowed. You could feel the weight of centuries just humming through the air. This wasn't just a weapon, it was an era, frozen in time. Auctioneer Alexander Gikello passionately explained, "The saber is an important symbol in the collective imagination, and Napoleon placed great importance on symbols. So he made several very important sabers of a very high quality, the best of his time, either to keep them for himself or to give them away in a very important act of thanks to certain important generals or marshals." The room practically gasped. This wasn't just history, this was a crown jewel. On a velvet backdrop, the saber gleamed like it knew it was about to make headlines. Zoom in closer and you'd see it, the name Boutet engraved in timeless script. A nod to Versailles itself. This wasn't just a pretty face, this saber had receipts. And baby, let's not ignore the scabbard wrapped in shark skin, because of course, Napoleon wouldn't be caught dead dragging around some basic leather. The crowd leaned in closer, phones flashing, breaths held. It was like being in the presence of a rock star. Those details, every swirl, every twist of vermeil, each whispered tales of battles, victories, and betrayals. Gikello continued, sending murmurs through the room. Napoleon ordered 2 weapons, the same model, which he kept all his reign between 1804 and 1815. And in 1815, of the 2 sabers that he had kept with him throughout the empire, he gave one to a Russian general who saved his life at the time of his first abdication, and the second to Marshal de Grouchy, who captured the Duke of Angoulême, who attempted a counter-offensive by the royalists during the landing of Napoleon at the Gulf of Juan in France. Carefully, a Drouot employee drew the saber from its shark-skin home. The blade caught the light, throwing back a flash so bright it felt like witnessing a resurrection. Just as carefully, it was returned to its case, the briefest glimpse of a relic that had survived wars, emperors, and revolutions. Close up on the hand, the smooth touch tracing every centuries-old curve. Goosebumps, palm leaves etched into the scabbard, an eternal symbol of victory. This sword wasn't just made for war, it was made for legends. Every inch of the scabbard told a story, and the stories? They were roaring louder than the crowd itself. Gikello himself stepped forward to lift the saber, a moment so charged it almost cracked the air, Gikello said, almost reverently. At the time, they used the widest range of imagery possible. You have this impressive dog's head, but which is dressed in an Egyptian headpiece. You have stylized animals. You have a palm leaf motif. The whole range of ancient and classical references, Roman and Greek. You have the most precious materials, since we are talking about gilded silver, so vermeil. The scabbard is made of shagreen, shark skin, worked with very delicate little details. The artistry? Insane. The symbolism? Even more insane. Another slow, lingering shot on the hilt? A masterclass in craftsmanship and imperial pride. The blade itself was pristine, as if daring someone to grip it once more and march across Europe. The employee's hands, steady but reverent, displayed the saber for the audience, who stared like disciples awaiting a blessing. Back into its ancient sharkskin sheath it went, the room buzzing with an electric awe. Gikello stressed, "The saber is very important in the history of Napoleon's life because it's a very huge symbol of the power, and he needed very important items to rhythm his reign. So he has to be." Approximately 15 sabers were known to be the property of Napoleon. 15. And here was one ready to find a new, very wealthy home. On its pedestal, bathed in spotlight, the saber practically dared the bidders to try their luck. Outside, the streets of Paris bustled, completely unaware that just inside those walls, history was changing hands. This saber wasn't some random blade from a museum's dusty collection. Oh no. This weapon was crafted in 1802 by master armorer Nicolas Noël Boutet, basically the Cartier of his time. And Napoleon? He clung to this beauty like a lifeline through his reign. The story? Juicier than a soap opera. After Napoleon's first abdication, when royalists tried to stage a messy little comeback, Marshal Emmanuel de Grouchy swooped in, captured the Duke of Angoulême, and secured Napoleon's landing in the Gulf of Juan. As a thank you, Bonaparte handed him this exact saber, like, "Here's my emotional support sword, King." Grouchy's descendants held onto it ever since 1815. Until now. The saber is worth more than several houses combined. Imagine explaining that at Thanksgiving. Gilded silver, sharkskin, Egyptian and Roman motifs. Napoleon didn't just want to win wars, he wanted to own history. It's wild because Napoleon himself, to some, was a visionary who built modern France. To others, a full-blown tyrant who stomped over nations like a man possessed. Either way, his sword? Straight up priceless. So, on May 22, when that auctioneer slammed his gavel down, the world gasped. Not because a sword was sold, but because a legend walked right off that velvet stand and into history's arms again. And you best believe whoever snagged it just bought themselves a slice of immortality.